Hi, this is Madhav. I'm recording if my record is okay. Hi, I'm Malav and I'm from India. This is my people, project one, uh, my to-do list app. This is a welcome screen. Let's get started by line. My project is divided into four files. We have index.html, which contains HTML, main.js, which contains all the JavaScript required for the to-do list. I have style.css, which contains generic classes, and a custom.css for the settings. Our CSS applied on a specific labels. Now the index.html, the main pages are divided into four different screens. Those screens are home, welcome screen, login screen, register, and home. Home screen contains other subdivisions called views. The views are like user view, settings view, list view, and task. Now we have seen the welcome screen. Welcome screen is a title, description, and buttons. Here we can see those two, and if we click those, it will take us to the specific pages. Uh, then we have a login screen. Login screen contains the inputs required for the email input and the password input, and a submit button for a button to check the login. Similarly, register also contains the inputs and the buttons required for the specific task, which will be further seeing when we see the JavaScript line by line. Now the home screen contains four different views. A user view, which contains a title or user, place to for a username, account settings button, and a logout button. Settings view contains the settings required in the form of input and buttons. Then we have list view. List view contains a title for the list. There is a generic title, my list, which does not changes, and we have a unordered list tag, which will be used to show the list to the user. Similarly, in the task view, we have the task view as a list which has a title as a which has a title for the list name. The buttons for add new, and a back button to go back to the list view, and a UL for the getting the list. Okay, let's we have imported the JavaScript at the bottom of the page, and the style sheet at the top of the my page. Now the main.js is we can let's say we have a class user which takes first name, last name as a null, which is default if we don't pass anything, which is not possible. I think I made a and I failed to correct that. Uh, then we have an email and a password. The constructor or assigns these values to the object or the classes, the properties, and we have the list here, which this is the default list provided for the everyone. I just have to delete if we want to, if I don't want to show user any default list. And the completed is an also an list which is an empty object which will contain the list, like similar to this, which will add the check mark when the user check mark. Now there is a function app with a function class app, which I am starting at the bottom of this JavaScript. When the page document is loaded, then the the app start function is called. Now this app start function contains lots of methods. These are the methods. I'll expand them one by one as we start. Let's start. We have the first method called add this dot start. This start method is when the first we have console log which the logs the time and the date when it starts. I read the uh, data stored in the local storage and assign it to a variable and use json.parse to store that this users. These users are the current users registered for the app. If I don't have this in the local storage, I add the users to it, and this dot users is assigned an empty array. The data stored in the local storage is in form of a string. So I have given a prefix string of an empty array which JSON pass for. Now I assign all the components of index.html like the welcome screen, login screen, register, user view, settings view, and titles and list titles and list class which description by this using this, and the app has all these properties added to. Now I have called method. I add this dot add listeners, which add the listeners for the specific or all the button clicks in the application. So if I say sign up, it will take me to the sign up which I added to the add listener to the this. And this dot welcome screen remove property display, remove the display from the main screen, which I have hidden it by default by putting up a style display none of the default HTML. So when the user has finished the download running the JavaScript, then only will the application show to the user. Uh, Now we will expand the add listener method. I minimize this and I have method this dot add listener. This dot add listener adds the methods to various components of the uh, uh, all the buttons or the controls required. So we have welcome sign up button. So we have this welcome sign up button and the login sign up button. We have we add this toggle method. Toggle method is here which takes the input from the page required to the screen we want to go. Type of it is a view or a display, and is an array which will expand the view required, or the screen is given we have to show multiple things. And I have next type is equal to view by default that will show me it will put the next type at over here. So this is a string literal which goes back to this from the app.start method. These are the properties which we set, and we are accessing those properties here dynamically from this inputs, and settings display to none or show remove display or hide display, show or hide display. And these are further expansion. If we have passed an array, does it requires to show the display or not? So this is the toggle method, and we just toggle from home welcome screen to register screen, and if the login button is clicked, we just welcome to login screen. Similarly, we have login submit button. So if we go to there, and I don't have any data in the users in the local storage, so any email will won't work right now as we have none of the uh, no user is yet to be registered. We have register submit button. So we will start by signing up button, and we will register. The last name is optional, so I have admin to do email for now, and a password I letter admin. So if I enter wrong or I do not accept the terms of agreement, it will show me in red that please accept terms and conditions. If I check this, and it will say the password must match. So this my password doesn't match. If I don't enter name, it will show a name is not appropriate. So we need at least a name in form of a text characters that here. And if my enter admin like enter email like anything, it will show me an error. This is a working email. Let's enter like. So this email is not appropriate even if I write this because due to we have a round bracket, ending of round bracket. This email is a legitimate email, it will work, but let's enter an appropriate email for now. Here admin at the rate 2.2. So it will register and take me to the screen, and here we can see registered accepted and data in the memory updated at the time. So we have local storage user, and this is the JSON data stored in it, and specified data here. So these are the defaults that are provided in the user this list. We can delete if we want, but let's get back to the login functionality test. If we log out, the memory in the data is still updated. It will update it on every event that is required to change. Now admin at the tattoo we just registered and the password was admin. So we will just log in and we can see that this is we are back over here. So this clears the welcome, login, submit, register, submit. Now let's say user settings button. If I click this button, so we need to go to the settings page where we can see the settings that are done. So it will just do the toggle version, but this is a hard-coded version. I was just lazy, and this dot update settings is a method which I'll when we click fills the values of the settings in the in over here. I can change name here from anything, just like my other for name is not admin and it is my mom, let's say Malav. So I'll just update here. You can update your password here. If we change the password, I need to confirm that I need to enter the same password here, and if we click update our last name, enter. So I just updated. It will show me and pop-up box alert box of the browser saying that settings are changed, which is run by the update which is listened by the settings submit button. Settings submit button checks the settings, and if the settings are okay, it says the check settings returns an uh, array of inputs, and the array of inputs are destructured as a temp here, and alert is done if this is done, and we go back from settings view to the now we'll see if I press the button again. I have Malav Patel which I just changed, and I can change in email, and local storage and users are also updated. Not updated, I must have forgotten here to do that, but I'll fix that later. The cancel button just takes me back which is settings this cancel button. Okay, so now I'll just show you the check settings. The check settings just as of in a sub function called report error, which is I just have to load my I report error like report error email is already registered. The report error function will get the element which has I've assigned for the error reporting. This like example expand register not register. Okay, so I'll show you the like the class error here. There is register retype error, register password error, uh, register email error. Similarly, we have this over here, and we have temp which replaces the message, and remove properties display of it, so I can see errors if there are we have just seen over there. Similarly, settings is the similar method, and set timeout method removes the error after 1 second of delay. So it will just flash and go out. So I have an array of inputs, and I get all the inputs by a query selector, and for each input I get element, I push the value of the input values into an inputs array. Input arrays check for name is the valid name. If not, then a report error. If this is condition matches uh, true, I this is the condition for checking a name. This is a regex, and this is a test method which checks for the input, and if it is uh, this is if this lands false, then the not will make it true and the block will get executed. Similarly, we have password length, retype password length if password are matching or not. If, this is a regex for regular expression for email, if the email is correct or not. And if all those are true, then we check for this user dot email is not equal to the inputs of 2. If the email are matching, then we don't need to perform this. If the emails are not matching, then we find all the users that are present in our users data. If they to see that if email and input email is already registered, if it is read, we give that email is already registered, else we return the input. So now let's make a new one, and I have admin to do as a registered. So if I try to register again, email is already registered. So what we'll now do is make a change in the email. Let's say I have the placeholder email we will add. That is my email, but I don't care if it is public or not. So now I'll try to change that email of the uh, admin account. Let's say we have Malav, and I'll try to change it to the one I just registered. So and I just try to update and it says email already registered. So this is check settings. We have check settings, check register, and check login, which are similar to each other. Check login just sees that if the user exists or not. If does not exist, it just removes an error which we have fixed here in the HTML for register login screen, which is wrong email or password. So when we found an error, it just shows this for 2 seconds. Okay, this shows for 2 seconds. If not, it will give the user which is registered that it is found. So we were at the user's account settings. Okay, so this is similar. If settings are done, cancel removes the cancel, and update shows the update. So we have now user account settings. User logout buttons perform this dot modify user. This dot modify user is a simple function that stores the user data in JSON to the local storage, and adds a console log while aware when it was updated. So this method will be called to store all the data to the local storage. So now I have list.add button, task.add button. Those both functions similarly, they give a prompt for to enter a new, and if it checks that if it's not empty, then it checks that if there is a list similar to it, it makes just an array for the new list, and it modifies and updates the page. So now I'll just get back to let's say I have default has a kill John Wick dog. book ticket to Antarctica, get book a shelter, load tons of foods and movies. Hope John Wick doesn't find you. If you are dead, if you are dead, John Wick killed you. Now say highlights you are not dead, so I am just unchecking it, and it will remain unchecked. Did we kill John Wick's dog? Say yes. Did we book Antarctica instantly? Did we book a shelter? No. We loaded tons of food. John Wick didn't yet not find it, so he's gonna find me. So we are not dead, so we'll just delete it. It will ask a prompt box, are you dead? And the John Wick, and we will delete it. And now let's get back button. Let's back to us. And now these are the other default list provided, which we don't want. We can go back and in. It's just working fine. So we will delete this, or we can edit this to let's say hello. So this I just renamed it to the hello, and I can add task and delete task. So I'll rename it to hi. I'll add hola, hiya, uh, it is my language. I can check this and this. I have still yet. I'll log out and log in again. It will still be checked or unchecked depending upon the user, which can be deleted or unchecked. So this is basically all that I have made. We can add new list, like just created a new shopping list with empty, and that new will add buy eggs. Say you just say buy eggs and check it. And so that's it for this video. Sorry, I'll just go through the JavaScript. So this is the add listener button for list add button, the task add button. Task back just goes back from the selected tasks, the main task which is required. Update list function gets the uh, name of the user this, and it updates the and changes the HTML every time the list is refreshed. We just start it by a string, and we pass through all the list in the object of this list, and we just add the text, and we change the inner HTML to the text, so the all the lists are defined. We go through the, and I have used string literal, which I learned from my school. I recently had exam, so I this video will be probably too late after I think a month or so, maybe more than a month. So this is a new change list, just gives up another prompt, and checks that if the return list entered list and the list name is not equal. If not equal, if they are equal, then it does nothing. So let's say I edit, and let's say default, so it does nothing, and if it's not, it just change the name. So I said default to, we just change that to John Wick is coming list. So there we go. The change list name, and the update task is just displaying these are the task, which is this. by X, and the example, update task takes one parameter. If that parameter is not null, then it will change the title of the back. It is done so that if I click this, then the title will be changed. If that is not empty, then it will just gonna update all the lists which are here if there is any change, the change in the user. So this is an update task. Change task is similarly we can change the tasks from say buy eggs, drop eggs. uh, so the task will be changed and the memory change will be updated, and similarly the checklist. Update settings is just the way of getting of the displaying this from the data present in the app or app user map property. So this dot user just gives my give just take the property and assign the pseudo elements of the value. Okay, and the check login I just explained the further. So thank you for the this is it. Thank you for watching. If you have watched the full video, else please just give me a great thank you.